1-1 out west. This shot chart presented by Kaiser Permanente. It's Steph Curry's shot chart. 2 games in Houston, and he's been okay.
Chef hasn't been cooking.
A lot of red outside that painted area. 17 points per game so far, but just 2 of 13 from three-point range. David Aldridge has more on Steph's pedestrian start.
It is a testament to the dominance that Steph Curry has shown on the court the last few years that the smallest of sample sizes indicating trouble, as in 2 of 13 shooting on three-pointers in the first 2 games of this Western Conference Finals series with the Rockets, causes alarm and panic throughout the Bay Area. Yet Curry and his teammates remain adamant that a course correction is as simple as Game 3 at home in Oracle on Sunday.
The consistent thing is I'll never lose confidence in myself when I'm out on the floor. It's why I shoot the shots that I do. It's why I play the way that I play.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's part of the game. I mean, I have high expectations for myself, and I know I've set lofty goals when it comes to shooting the basketball.
Yeah.
So if I don't meet that standard every night, there's going to be questions of why this, why that. But we're in the Western Conference Finals. They got to play well for us to get to the next level, and I know that. I think it's just they're switching. They try to interrupt your flow by just presenting the body at every interaction, every screen, whether it's on the ball, off the ball.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's what we've done for years, where you try to just to kill the flow.
Guys, there's nothing terrible about the overall numbers. 17 points, as I mentioned, 6.5 boards, 7.5 assists per game. The three-point range isn't great. Just hasn't been a Steph sort of offensive burst to this point. And Steve Kerr suggested that Curry might still be trying to find his rhythm 6 games back after missing 6 weeks away. What are you seeing?
I think a little bit is that Steph's trying to find his rhythm. He's a guy that missed a lot of time, and when you miss time, it takes some time to get back. It takes back physically, from a conditioning standpoint, and to find your rhythm playing with other great players. Secondly, we have to give Houston some credit. They're out warriors the Warriors. They're switching every screen and roll, forcing Golden State to play one-on-one, and to a certain degree, Steph hasn't gotten a lot of the really good look that he's been able to get against this team in the past, and I think that's played into it.
I think for me, what I see is what they've done to him defensively. I use a boxing analogy. When you keep getting hit with body blows, eventually it affects your legs and your chin. And I think what's happened to Steph is literally not every possession, but almost every other possession down. He's in a pick and roll where he gets hit. Then he's got to switch, and he's got to guard mano-a-mano physically against physical players. Like, they're not bailing out just shooting jumpers. So they're looking to attack him, make him work, affect his legs, and that affects your rhythm because he's so focused right now defensively that he's got to exert so much energy there that it then also takes energy for how they play offensively, right? Because they play a lot without the basketball. So I do think that their strategy in terms of attacking him consistently, and they have a unique team in that they've got 2 point guards in essence, so they can both take turns and putting him in those situations. And if you're Houston, that game plan can't change because I think it does affect Steph in terms of from a fatigue standpoint on the other end. And so we expect him to play better at home. You know, I think Golden State will be a little quicker. He'll get a little bit better rhythm with the looks. But from a philosophical standpoint, I think Houston's going to continue to put that guy in pick and roll.
Yeah, they're not the first team to target him defensively, obviously, but Houston's a different animal, and he is still coming off the injury just 6 games ago. Meanwhile, true to Mike D'Antoni's word, the Rockets didn't change much strategically in Game 2, but they were a much more dynamic team.
Well, they did 2 things. There was more body movement off the ball, but more importantly, I thought they played faster. Meaning they didn't play the last 7 seconds of the shot clock, which allowed for, again, a great Golden State team defensively to load to the basketball. They attacked early in transition, early in the shot clock before that defense could load and get set. They didn't allow Golden State the comfort zone of being able to lock in on the basketball. And even though they still play a lot of ISO basketball, there was a tremendous amount of ball movement, I thought, Brendan, in terms of how Houston implemented that game plan.
Yes, I thought the ball movement was a lot different from Game 1 to Game 2. They still played ISO basketball, but other guys got involved. Other guys got to touch it. I think there was a very telling possession in that game where I think it was like 6 or 7 passes made everybody touch it. They ended up getting, I think, a wide open 3 for Eric Gordon. Those were the type of possessions that weren't available in game one. You didn't see it. It was all one-on-one. James had a good game, but it kind of took away from some of the role players. Ariza, P.J. Tucker, some of those guys weren't able to get going. I think sharing the ball helped them out a lot. I also think what they did from an offensive standpoint, not turning it over. When they don't turn it over, it allows them to be a better ball club, and that helped them out also.
Felt to me like a complete role reversal of the two teams. You had the Warriors standing around and watching Kevin Durant a lot in game two, like the Rockets did in game one.
Yeah, and Mama Draymond didn't like that, you know. So in fairness too, I think if he's taking close to 30 shots, it does disrupt them from a rhythm standpoint, even though he's on, because you do tend to start watching.
It worked in game one, though.
It did.
It worked in game
they need
one.
3 more wins, and I think they're a better team, more difficult to deal with if both Klay and Steph are a little more involved offensively.
Yep, and they weren't in game two. Klay in particular, not good in game two. Game three coming up on Sunday. TNT's got it at 8 Eastern time.
2-0 up in the series means absolutely nothing. It's desperation time for the Cavaliers. Blocked by James. That's getting it done defensively. Backdoor James throws it down. Porter fires a three, knocks it in. J.R. Smith from downtown. Cavaliers having their way with the Celtics.
Hey out there, welcome into our Atlanta studio for another edition of Game Time presented by State Farm. It's good to have you along for the ride. Brendan, Greg, I'm Matt. After 3 days away, the Eastern Conference Finals restarted in Cleveland on Saturday. The Celtics never really did get started, and the Cavs started to make this look like a series. LeBron James' teams have been down 0-2 3 different times over his career. They're 6-0 in games 3 and 4 that followed, and this one kind of followed that script because the Cavs came out and jumped all over the C's. George Hill was a big part of it.
George Hill, really aggressive. I think he had 11 in that first quarter, and that really helped to set the tone for this Cavaliers bunch.
J.R. Smith, maybe getting the feeling as well.
Give me that!
LeBron's defense.
Speaking of setting the tone, King James always sets the tone. Got it done to offense right here, stepping into that jumper calmly and smoothly.
Chewbacca liked it.
Chew on this.
Or maybe he didn't. I don't know. Second quarter, more Cavs and moving the ball.
What a pass.
Moving without the ball. Larry Nance Jr., the beneficiary there. Nance taps it out to Jeff Green. Eventually it gets to Kyle Korver, who was perfect on the night from the great beyond.
Yeah, he shot it well, but you just saw even on that little clip there, much more active, getting to loose balls, playing with more pace and more movement.
James also 3 of 3 from outside the three-point line. Cavs building their lead. Kevin Love, look at this pass to LeBron. How do you let LeBron get away from you?
Man, how do you do that dunk in a half-court setting? Come on, man. The double pump reverse in the half-court? Like, a lot of guys can't do that in transition. Maybe even in a dunk contest. LeBron is doing that in the half-court of a playoff game.
In his 15th season at the age of 33. Cleveland up by 20 at the half. James behind the back to Tristan Thompson. Playmaking was brilliant all night. James shows off the handles here a little bit.
Mean, that is with the left hand. Showing off the handles, puts the left-handed bounce pass on the dime. Had 12 dimes on the night. Love this dime as well.
6 assists at the rim, 6 assists on threes. It's a 30-point blowout for the Cavaliers. 2-1 series.
As a group, even when things broke down, we just covered for one another. We made them make extra passes, we made them make extra dribbles, and so we were flying around, and I just happened to be one of the guys on the floor that wanted to fly around as well.
They were great. We were not the, clearly not the harder playing, more connected team tonight. Cleveland was, and they deserve all the credit for that. I thought they played a great game and came out and really moved it and were really tough. Got into us defensively.
When you don't, bring it as a team, and you don't play the way you're supposed to play, these kind of things can happen. At the same time, you got to give, Cleveland credit. They played better. They were the better team tonight.
He prides himself on time, on target. And when guys are open, he wants to make sure they have it right in their shooting pocket to get their shot off. And you can see that with Corver tonight. You can see it with JR. Kevin had a few that he missed that he normally makes, but he really prides himself on passing on time, on target.
Cavaliers got out to a 20-4 lead, and really from that point on, it never felt like the Celtics were going to be in this game. And Cleveland's offense did a lot of the things you would expect of a team back at home. They shot the ball better. They moved around a little more. It was a little more dynamic. How much did it change?
I think it changed a lot. I think the guys at home, we always talk about role players playing better on the road. Role players playing better at home. And we saw that from the Cleveland Cavaliers. George Hill started off playing well. The ball got swung to him. He made some aggressive plays, got downhill, had a nice little floater, hit a three early on. That set the tone. From then on, it was just a lot of the offense and LeBron James playing great basketball. Here you see LeBron catching the ball. Listen, Boston's not set. They're not locked in. LeBron sees the driving angle. Gets right downhill very quickly. One of the best in the league at getting downhill still. Easy layup, no resistance at the rim. Now, this is the play. Okay, now you have a little bit of movement. LeBron James reads the defense, was able to hit the three to give him too much space. Now, once again, LeBron reading the D. Comes off the screen, fakes it. Now sees right there Larry Nance sliding down the middle of the lane for the easy dunk. And here Kevin Love catches the ball. There's some action on that side. LeBron James sees that people are not paying attention to him on the weak side. Immediately cuts, spots the overplay. Morris takes his eye off of LeBron for a quick second. As soon as that happens, LeBron goes backdoor. Celtics weak side of the defense cannot recover. Excellent highlight dunk for LeBron. I loved his approach in this game because everybody thought it was going to be this Kobe, Michael Jordan mentality, come out there and try to just take it over from the very start. But I give you credit, GA, you told me. He was going to come out here, play very poised, and let the game come to him, let his teammates make some plays. He did that tonight. He did a great job of knowing when to be aggressive, when to apply pressure, and when to let guys like George Hill and some of his other teammates step up.
They were more decisive as an offense played earlier in the shot clock as well. They got some of the movement, and it always looks better when guys knock down shots, which the Cavaliers did to the tune of 17-34 from three-point range, or three more made threes than in the first two games combined.
Yeah, they shot it extremely well, and you talked about it, Matt. They just played with more confidence and more aggression, but I still really felt like what they were able to do off their defense gave them some confidence. I thought they made Boston a little uncomfortable, and that rolls over into your offense. And this is who they've been all season. When they played their best basketball, they have been dynamic from three. They open up that floor, and it puts a lot of pressure on the opposing defense, knowing LeBron's got that extra space with which to operate, and the shooting that we saw throughout the course of this game.
17 threes, a postseason high for the Cavaliers. They are now 6-1 on their home floor, with at least one more home game coming up Monday night. And we've got more on this series later on here on Game Time, and why the Celtics have struggled on the road throughout the postseason so far. But first, a look forward to Sunday's Game 3 out west, and why Steph Curry has been something shy of Steph-like so far. After a three-day hiatus, the Eastern Conference Finals is now on an every-other-day schedule, with Game 4 on Monday in Cleveland, and the Cavaliers with new life. Dennis Scott with George Hill after the Game 3 blowout.
George, we talked about it yesterday, starting the game out with confidence and knocking down some shots. It felt pretty good tonight.
I mean, definitely so. You know, like we talked about, you gotta take the shots. You gotta be confident and do it. Watch some film, figure out where I can pick my spots and where I can just say forget it and just go out and play the game and have fun doing it. And I try to do that tonight.
And how much fun is it to have guys like LeBron and Kevin Love saying, George, shoot the ball. We need you to be aggressive.
I mean, it's fun, you know, but, you know, I'm happy the opportunities was there. You know, I think did a great job of, you know, moving the ball tonight as a team. A great job defending, but, you know, if I think we play with that same intensity and effort, you know, night in, night out, we're a tough team to beat.
And as you get ready for Game 4, it looked like the defensive rotations on the backside are really there tonight to help you all out.
I mean, definitely so. We didn't have as many defensive breakdowns today where, you know, guys made cut and we miscommunicated and guys were just wide open, walk in the park type shots. So guys covered for one another when things did break down, and that's what you got when you get a whole complete team effort.
And to see Kyle Korver and JR switch, finally see some shots go down really helped out for the spacing on the offensive end.
I mean, definitely so. When those guys got it going, it makes the game a lot easier for everyone.
My 11 years as a head coach, I probably haven't talked about road and home 5 times with our team. It's about how you play between the lines. And because I think that if you start talking about that, then you find excuses in both places. And we can't play like we played tonight, no matter where we played. If we would have played in Boston like that, we would have gotten beat.
Well, Brad won't talk about it, but I will. The Celtics are 1-5 on the road in the postseason so far. In fact, they haven't won a road game in regulation since March 28th. And look at the numbers.
That was a long time ago.
Wow. Scoring 17 fewer points on the road as opposed to home so far in the playoffs. Greg, why are these results so lopsided?
I think sometimes this is when you really miss the great players. Because the great players give your team confidence, because they can go out. Like LeBron tonight allowed his teammates to set the tone because he had that luxury being at home. But if you remember in Game 2 on the road, he felt the need that he had to go out and establish the tone, and that gives the team confidence. They've got a lot of really good players at this stage and guys who can become great in terms of a Jason Tatum, a Jaylen Brown, but they don't have that Kyrie-type guy. And so you saw in this game, they play great basketball from the standpoint, we got to go make a shot. But that's not what's made them good. Their system has allowed their guys to play with comfort, right? All these shots early in the game, the ball wasn't moving, bodies weren't moving, spacing wasn't good. They were self-willing it a little bit in this game. And not that they're not capable of making these shots, but those are the shots the Cavs wanted them to take, right? Because they were contested shots where they didn't have floor balance that allowed the Cavs to control the defensive backboard, which were plus 11 tonight, and then get out and transition, get the crowd into the game. And so those are the kind of games, and those numbers speak to the fact that these are the moments when you miss the Kyrie Irvings and the great players, because they have the ability to play their game equally as effective on the road. And the good players oftentimes are reliant upon those great players to set that tone.
Yeah, this is a young basketball team, and young players also play better at home than they do they play better at home than they do on the road, as well as role players. And to get to your point, you hit it right on the head, Greg. This is where you miss a Kyrie Irving. This is where you miss a guy where you can just say, hey, here's the ball. We need you to go carry us through a rough patch. Hey, we're starting off the game, we're a little slow. We need you to create a problem where they can't guard you and everybody else is able to feed off of you. And they don't have that right now with Kyrie Irving. For all the people that think this team is better without Kyrie Irving, you're sadly mistaken. Yeah. They're a very good team without him, but they definitely need him. These type of games prove that. And Boston has to find a way to play better on the road. These young guys, we're going to have to find a way to get themselves going, because at home it's easy. You have the crowd behind you. That Greg, that crowd can take you to another level. When you're playing well, they can have your confidence sky high. Well, when you're on the road, you have to bring your own confidence. You have to bring your own swagger. Boston has to find that.
One of these days, I got to find out who all these people are you're talking to. You say all these outrageous things.
Hey, listen, man.
Check his Twitter feed.
I watch
Snapchat.
a lot of sports television shows.
Coming up, the Kings
see this a lot tomorrow.
I do a radio show too, man. I talk about it all the time.
Both here and across the pond, we'll explain. At the buzzer, you may be aware Saturday was a royal wedding.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's just disturbing.
Oh man, that is disturbing. Matt, is that you?
Well, why is Matt the bride?
How did I become the bride?
Well, wait a minute. You got to talk to somebody.
That's
you
Matt
got to talk to somebody upstairs. You can't let them disrespect you like that.
Better him than me.
Yeah, this too is true. But I can't believe why they got. Okay, we got Tristan over there in the corner.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Tristan's played well in this series, so he gets to get in there in the royal wedding fun.
And the King's there.
King's there.
You got to have the king for a royal wedding. You got to have the king.
He couldn't attend the real royal wedding.
Yeah, he had something to do today.
Yeah.
My gown looks.
I tell you,
really elegant.
You are glowing.
Really elegant.
You really are glowing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She's your queen. She's your queen to be.
Yeah. Congratulations.
She's your queen.
Western Conference. Western Conference Finals Game 3 Sunday. Who you got? What's going to happen?
Golden State, I'm gonna go with, but I tell you what, Houston is gonna make. I think they got a chance to make this an interesting series.
Did you pick anybody?
Yeah, I picked Houston.
Okay,
picked them
because I thought you picked Golden State first.
No, I picked them at 7.
Okay,
trust me, I keep getting reminded every day.
I'm going with Golden State. I think Steph Curry's going to bounce back. Chef's going to have to get going. Chef's got to get cooking. Right now the kitchen's closed. I think he bounces back, plays well at Oracle.
It's got to happen sooner or later, right?
Are they taking Wick in their kitchen?
I don't know, but Steph's not going to keep shooting 15% from three.
Okay.
Probably true. Thanks for being there, everybody.
Chef
Congrats,
Curry with the shot,
Harry,
boy.
Megan.